Coming up on this episode of Courage Over Comfort with your hosts, Matt Logan and Beth Blanchard.
That's how an employee becomes an employer.
Yes.
Because you make a decision within. Unfortunately, people are so externalized where they're living for the next paycheck. They're trying not to piss these people off, living for a future moment instead of the one right here.
Yeah.
You get my drift?
Yeah.
They're saving up for Christmas. They're living for the next shebang where it's like you could just be living the shebang.
I had an awesome conversation, entertaining, intriguing.
Totally entertaining.
Deep.
And he's not an astronaut, just to be clear.
No, he's a stationary astronaut.
I love that title. That was one of the funniest things that jumped out at me. That I'm like, what a great name. I love that.
It's a great name. It's a great logo. And it kind of made sense how he told the story and how he came up with it. Something that I am not a fan of is spiders.
I was literally like crawling while I was listening to this. I never thought I was like terrified of spiders, but just the thought of like him talking about that coming out of where you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally would have been awake for 7 days or however long it was.
I know. I couldn't have done that. So way to go. And well, let's watch the podcast since you didn't get to join.
Yes.
And we'll come back and talk about it in a little bit. But first, let's welcome Nick McLaughlin.
Here he is.
Hey, Nick. How you doing today, dude?
Good. How about you?
Good. We don't really know each other, but I've heard of you.
Okay.
That's scary, right?
Well, that's the internet for you.
People tell me you're an astronaut.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I've always been enthralled by the stars, and growing up in Minnesota, growing up on the lake, going to the lake every summer, you are stuck looking up.
Yeah.
And the stars have just enthralled me. And then as I started traveling more and things like that, I just started meeting people through my experiences that were able to shape my life and made me want to reach for the stars.
Nice.
And that's kind of where the dream really started taking shape because I started executing on it.
Yeah.
And
that's Courage Over Comfort, of course, is the podcast, and what you're doing is taking those steps of courage and not getting comfortable, sitting back, just looking at the stars, right? Going after them. But you're a stationary astronaut.
You want to hear that story?
I do want to hear that story because I've heard it's pretty good.
Okay, so this is probably my biggest leap I've ever taken in regards to starting to annually go down to the Amazon jungle.
Okay.
And partake in ayahuasca sessions with shamans. Okay. Now, there was one night, I think it was my third night, my first year down there in 2015. It's beyond the fearful doing of booking your travel and things like that, getting shots from a travel doctor. Those are all spiritual leaps you're taking throughout the process, even before you end up down there in the middle of the Amazon jungle. So you start breaking through with these ayahuasca sessions, and then I think it was my third night, I completely break through. You're out of your body, and I came back, and you're just glowing, and I look back at my mat. Okay, it's just a soft mat in the middle of a ceremony hall in the middle of the jungle down by the equator. And I was laying on that, but I was out there. And then that got the ball rolling for Stationary Astronaut. So I continued to go back. I went back in 2016, and then it was actually over that winter. I came back end of August. Over that winter, I really branded Stationary Astronaut and got everything trademarked and did the business stuff I had to take care of. But it all stemmed from happenings down in the Amazon jungle where I took a leap and I had the most growth I've ever had and got to get rid of so much trauma and send it down the river to Brazil, is what they say.
Yeah.
Send all that crap down there. And it all stemmed from just taking leaps, reading a book, being enthralled by this, and then really just going through the process of being able to make it happen.
Yeah, so you're basically getting your mind completely involved, and you're thinking outside that box, which that box is comfort, right? And so you have to dive in, and you have to get to that place where, okay, maybe that step is a little different, not the Amazon for some people, right? But that's a good example that you just stepped out of that box and I'm going, and then you just let yourself go and took the steps of courage.
It always translates to whatever you do in life.
Yeah.
So people are scared to just drive to South Dakota.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To just dedicate that time, make the decision, and actually just go to the Black Hills.
Yeah.
know?
You kept talking about execute off camera, right? You're like, execute it.
Yep.
Yeah. Stop dreaming it.
I am obsessed with the process.
Yeah.
And this is something, it's kind of a horse that's been beaten dead by Gary Vee, but I'm so obsessed with the process.
Sure.
I know by doing so much that is where God shines. Okay, that is where my spiritual growth comes through and is able to scale up, I guess you could say. And it's not always about just taking a trip down to the jungle where you're going to hang out with mosquitoes that are the size of hummingbirds. Okay?
Are they really?
They are, literally.
Seriously?
I came back, my legs were double the size.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible. It was terrible. I thought my legs were going to explode. They were so swollen. Because you're getting eaten up for a week straight.
And there's just nothing you can do about it.
Man, there's nothing you can do about it. You're in the middle of a dense rainforest, And so check this out. My first day walking in there, this is how I knew I was going to be battling fear the whole week, was a tarantula was walking out of my window, from underneath my window, was walking out from my bungalow.
No.
And that's how I knew. Yes, there's tarantulas everywhere. My second year I was there, man, I was coming back from ceremony after like the second or third night, and I had my red headlight on, and I'm looking down, and if I wouldn't have had my headlamp on, I would have crushed a tarantula. And sure enough, he just moseys underneath the deck, just real quick.
Just like chill.
My last morning there, my second year, I went to open up the shower to go in the shower, because you do have warm showers there, ran off generators for like 12 hours a day. I open up the shower and there's a banana spider in there, and it was like this big, and they had to come beat it for like 5 minutes to kill it with a broom.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you're afraid of insects, which I am, I'm definitely afraid of spiders.
Spiders, yeah, man, I can't deal.
It's been my thing, man, ever since arachnophobia came out.
Right.
That's been my crutch, is spiders. And I just took it in stride when I saw that tarantula climbing out of the window of my bungalow. I knew that this was going to be a week of conquering.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally. I think if I was there, that wouldn't have been my week of conquering. That would have been my week of crying. Because people that know me, they know. No spiders, man. I mean, if they're that big, I'm in trouble. So good for you. What? Tell us about the background here. This is a very unique piece.
Well, I knew that it was time to pivot. So Stationary Astronaut is legally just turned 3. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I knew that we were going to be having to pivot. And with the network, we're creating multiple shows underneath it. And that's where Stationary Astronaut will just remain one of those pillars.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm doing so much in regards to events we do up in the Twin Cities, events we bring down here, where I've already branded so many things, like Where the Minds Meet, where we brought out Gary Vee, we bring out doctors and things like that. So I knew that we had to scale up from a business standpoint so we can create the umbrella, because I knew Stationary Astronaut wasn't going to be the end-all, be-all. It just had to be one pillar in a big movement.
And now a quick word from our sponsors.
KFG Coaching is sponsoring this episode of the podcast.
Sponsoring the podcast and really people's lives. That's what she does.
Absolutely. She is a mindset coach.
Yes.
Krista is her name. And incredible person.
Totally. Amazing person.
Yeah, I've been able to chat with her several times, and I love that she is able to bridge the gap, right? When you go into a business, employees don't really want to talk to HR about certain things because that's within the organization.
Right.
And she bridges that gap really well, like extremely well, between the employees and like in HR departments.
Yes, absolutely.
And just brings out what some of the issues might be or whatever else. It's one of the talents that she has.
Communication wizard.
Yes.
That's totally what it is. And bridging the gap is like putting it lightly, but helping to get people on the same page, feel comfortable talking to her and relaying that information to the other side with intentionality and, really good communication. I think it's a win-win for everyone. And
in a
great
respectful
resource.
way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not like you did this wrong or you did that wrong or whatever else. It's actually just finding good solutions.
Right.
Yeah.
From a business perspective, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Your employees are more productive. Your business is more productive when you get some of that out of the way. That's exactly what she does. Makes all that smooth over, gets people back on track.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
And what's great too, because she's like a business coach. She also is a certified trainer. Like this is what she does. And she has a lot of, what I really love about it, she has a lot of personal experience that she brings to the table, right? She's not just one of those people that runs her business from the outside and just says, this is how you do it.
Do as
like
I
she
say.
has exactly. She has that experience, that personal experience to really make that happen and work and bridge those gaps that we talked about. But she also does personal coaching, like people all over the world.
And it's the experience and the trust that you can get with her. Not just get, but you feel right away. And I think that's the impact and the change that opens the doors for businesses to be more successful and people to be more successful because they have someone to guide them.
Absolutely.
For sure.
We need to look her up. I want to look her up.
You've got to go, internet, wherever you are. Hit up kfgcoaching.com. She has got all of the information that you need to get to where you need to go and get connected with her from a business or personal standpoint. Either way, it's a good investment.
Yeah. I'm thinking I might contact her.
Right.
Yeah.
Get over there,
It's brilliant.
kfgcoaching.com. That's all you need to do. She'll take care of the rest.
Thank you, KFG Coaching.
Yes, we thank you, appreciate you, and wish you the best of luck with all of our listeners here.
Absolutely. Maple Springs Campground is sponsoring the show.
Yes. Why would you not want to get out and relax while you listen to our podcast?
Absolutely. I mean, they've got
Perfect
free
place.
Wi-Fi.
Amazing, right? So kick back, you can go horseback riding.
Absolutely. They've got like a whole area for horse people.
I'm not a horse person, but I'm just intrigued by the fact that they have this.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally, there's a spot you can keep your horses and tie them up and all that kind of stuff for them. So it's great.
That just blows my mind. But I'd probably be the one fishing. That
Trout
would be my
fishing,
thing.
that area is known for it. I mean, and there's that whole area. What is trout fishing open in May, right? So it's coming up.
So like right after ice fishing, basically.
True.
We're hoping it's going to be warm enough by then, but I'm already planning my summer vacations. So
bring
this
the
is
family
definitely
down
on
there.
the bucket list.
Yeah, I've been down there many times. They have church services on Sundays.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small window.
Free showers, free
lots
Wi-Fi.
Of things, yeah.
What more do you need?
You really don't
Listen
need
to the
any
podcast
more.
while you're in the shower.
Yes, I love it. Maple Springs at campground.com. You can go figure out your reservations, get it booked now. That's what I'm going to be doing so I can go enjoy
Did you forget
vacation.
the www?
Oh, we're never going to live this down. But for those of you who need that as well, it is www.maplespringscampground.com, just in case there's any questions.
Had to throw it out there. Hey, thanks, Maple Springs Campground.
We thank you.
And now, back to the episode.
So, Gary Vee, you mentioned a couple times. Obviously, you must be a fan, or
it's beyond fan. I look at Gary Vee and his mentality and purpose, kind of how I perceive Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant didn't raise me. The Mamba mentality raised me.
Right.
And that's what the spirit of Gary Vee is. What I was already in operating on a poor man's scale like Gary Vee, with how I execute. But then he came across my plate and I said, okay, let's go get this guy. So we did our thing, ran the campaign, brought him here. But it was more so like not just anyone can book Gary Vee. If you listen back to our episode, I think it was episode 104, he came on the Stationary Astronaut podcast the night we brought him here. He was talking about how it was a miracle that I even got him. And it was because of how I already operated, how I execute, how I converse, how I know when I want something, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to check all the boxes to go make sure it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Because I was rolling all the dice in the Yahtzee Cup to even make an attempt at Gary Vee.
Yeah.
So like not just any entrepreneur can pull him. And that's where I was already to basically, long story short, I'm not a fan of Gary Vee.
Yeah.
I operate like Gary Vee, which
The
allows
respect,
us,
it sounds like there's a lot of respect, though.
absolutely. And we resonate like kindred spirits, but at the same time, he still thinks Cat is the truth. And I don't think Carl Anthony Towns is going to be our cornerstone. That's where we differentiate. We got into it on stage at the dinner where it's when the New York Knicks, who he's a fan of, they still had Porzingis.
Yeah.
So I was like, shoot, man, I will trade you straight up for Porzingis because he's not going to get a max contract. Carl Anthony Towns is going to demand a max contract. Only problem is he isn't necessarily going to be our long-term solution. And that's just me as a former, basketball player.
Yeah. Who'd you play for?
I played for John Marshall here in town.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm also a basketball
Atta
player.
boy.
Yeah, but
Where'd you
small
go?
scale. Private Christian school here in town.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
not as big as JM.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I just did a podcast the other day, actually, where we talked about working out and how we get comfortable on a 6-foot hoop, and we think we're pretty bad.
Yep.
Like, I could dunk, not in a game, but I dunked, a half a dozen times in my life at my height.
Yeah.
But it takes work, man. I mean, jumping rope and doing all those things, and that's what you're talking about, doing the work. Put the work in, and then you get Gary Vee, right? You probably have his cell phone number. Not to give it out, but is he the most famous person? Let me ask you this. Some people get like mind freeze or whatever you want to call that. They just lock up, right? They see somebody that's kind of famous in whatever fashion they're famous, and they just can't talk. Like they can't think, all those things. Did that happen? Has that happened to anyone?
No, and that's a very good question, because when that does happen, that is a person who's uncomfortable with who they are.
Yes.
So the people who are comfortable with who they are can sit down with world leaders.
Yes.
And that's throughout the process of getting Gary Vee, I'm having to sit down with the president of U.S. Bank and his entire board. I'm having to sit down with these big dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there was nothing that was going to sway me. Sitting down with the likes of, hanging out with Theo Vaughn and knowing that that's basically me one step away from Joe Rogan. You know what I'm saying? And things like that, where it doesn't matter. And then later on in the year, I flew down and was hanging out with Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates, and Dr. Dennis McKenna, and, having the confidence to get on the horn with the Dr. Gabor Mates of the world and these doctors, because now I get to sit down with doctors, and it's something where I am not even in the same league mentally to be able to sit down with these people.
Yeah.
But when you know yourself, you know what you provide, and you know how you can keep a conversation moving. That is where, I'm not going to get the jitters because I know who I am.
Yeah. I actually had that conversation with somebody a couple of years ago about how the fandom and things like that, and how people lock up. And I've met nobody quite as famous as Gary, but I have met a few. But it felt like to me like this, they're like me. They just more people know them, of them, and things like that. So. And we discussed that, like, if you're good in your own skin, meeting somebody like that is just, hey, it's like I met you today, right?
You're better off not meeting your heroes.
Yeah.
Because that's what you realize is that they are just human beings.
Yeah.
We want to put these people that we discover on the internet, or who might have a Netflix special, or they might have been on the Joe Rogan podcast, or whatever that may be. So you place them on a higher pedestal of the totem pole.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of human beings.
Can you, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just a thought there. You putting them up on that totem pole, as you worded it, can you do that in two different ways? One, I think you can do that in where you're looking up at them as a goal, right? You aspire to be as active as they are in MMA fighting, whatever that might be, or can you put them up there and saying, I'm never gonna be able to achieve that? What would you say to that?
That would be fear.
Yep.
The first totem pole, yes, because I love people who are accomplished. Hence the reason now we've gotten to the point where we can say no to interviews, where I don't know, I'm sorry, like, I'm just not interested in this book you wrote, or whatever that may be. I'm sorry, I'm just not interested. because that is not something I'm just not trying to go there.
Well, you can't be all things to all people.
Yes.
And if it's something that doesn't fit what you're doing, that doesn't make any sense at all.
People who are accomplished in avenues that I'm interested in, those are ones that would fall higher on the totem pole for me.
Yeah.
But then the other totem pole you speak of, I can't ever be that. Well, can't. If that's in your vocabulary, that's a dangerous place to be, because we've got to do some deep work to get that out of your vocabulary. I deal with a lot of people who want an opportunity, but really they want to ride coattails. And then on the back end, if they miss a meeting or something, they hit me with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And that right there is just like a can't word. Those are words that if you want to be an entrepreneur, they got to get out of your vocabulary. Problem is, you're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because if you are an entrepreneur, you take things like that as a challenge. You never say, I can't. Just like you talk about Michael Jordan, right? So Michael Jordan, there was this player on the Bulls after he won his 6th championship who was talking some stuff to his friend, okay, who was still on the team. His friend comes to Michael and says, yo, Mike, this kid has been saying he can beat you. Mike came to the gym that the Chicago Bulls, that he hung the banners up in. He came to that gym and he whooped this dude one-on-one. And he did it just because you are not allowed to say that about the GOAT. I am here to prove a point.
Sure.
So when people say I can't, you just challenged me.
Yeah.
And that's either you have it or you don't. There is no in between.
Yeah.
So if you don't have it, you're always going to be an employee, which is okay, because we need more worker bees. We need more employees. But those are often people who have the word can't in their vocabulary.
I agree to a point, but I think that the employees, we absolutely definitely need them. We need all, I mean, it's all balance, right? We need the whole works. And so the people that are in those positions, what I see in a lot of cases, quite honestly, is they have the ability to go out and actually make a pretty significant difference in a kid's life at United Way, or the Ronald McDonald House, or they do those kinds of things. And because guys like us, we're not set at 9 to 5, right? It's hard for us to do those things, even though there might be a huge desire to do it. Yeah. So that I think is so powerful too. Like, don't just say, oh, I'm an employee somewhere. Get out of that comfort zone and say, I'm going to go, I talked to somebody, had a meeting yesterday, and they were like, I'm kind of in this place and blah, 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 and I want to help people. And what we came to is that they're probably good at helping someone in a nursing home, like even in a rehabilitation piece of it. So it's like, hey, I'm off at 5, show up at 6, you've already had supper, go help them out.
Everybody has a purpose.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And that is, when I talk business, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
In regards to, you're going to be an employee or an employer. But the best employers were employees at one point.
Absolutely.
Long and the short of it. But they strived, and they
were on the right side of that totem pole.
Absolutely.
They were on that's my goal, rather than that's my idol and I can't get there.
When we were talking before we went hot about kind of consulting people, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I like to use as an icebreaker, okay, well, what are you doing here? And then they'll hit me with, well, I'm here to talk to you. No. What are you doing here? And then I just start chipping away, because I already know my end game and where I want to get with this person. What's your purpose?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then they hit me with it, well, I'm a glue piece. I'm here for a reason. I am here to connect people. That's what I do. Okay, so tell me who you are, what your purpose is, so I know who I need to link you up with.
Yeah.
You get my drift?
Totally.
And that is something where it's helped so many people in regards to just chiseling away at what is your purpose. And oftentimes it is, please, for the love of God, you owe yourself a vacation. Get out. Get out, because right now you're in your comfort zone. So you need to get out of your comfort zone, and don't go ask Becky or Gina or someone to come with you on this vacation. Go by yourself. Do some soul searching, because so many people, we live in this comparative society and they're so stuck on, well, if they're doing this, then I need to like get on it right away. No, find yourself first and then start executing. Put together a plan and really 10x that. Don't sit here and say, I'm just going to lollygag through life because I'm comparing myself to so-and-so and I need to make the same Instagram post or I need to do this. Whatever happened to having your own lane?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where, like, nowadays you just see it with podcast edits, where if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're keeping up with the Joneses and you're going to be forgotten. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely. So you talked about the Amazon, you talked about vacation right now. What's your favorite place to like just vacation?
Oh man. I love Seattle. I love mid-Northern California, Santa Cruz, San Jose, San Francisco. My favorite though, it just came about this past year, Nashville, Tennessee.
See what shirt I'm wearing?
Yes. Nashville. And it's funny because it's very ironic.
I mean, that's really ironic because
ironic.
I really had no idea. Like, we've never met, right? And that's funny.
Nashville. It is just entertainment on every corner. The food is tremendous, but the people. There's a vibe there where it's not like you go to Los Angeles. Los Angeles is just Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is a city you can only dip your toes in and you got to get out.
Yeah.
You cannot be sucked in. I call it the Los Angeles Vortex. You cannot get sucked into it, because if you get sucked into it, it comes out in your personality and it comes out in your ego. With Nashville, it's just laid back. There's no judgment. It seems like a no judgment-free zone where you can go to a podunk and you're meeting someone who has already been working with Grammy producers and you have no idea.
Yeah.
And they're so cool. They're willing to talk. And then the people, just going downtown where beautiful people want to just commingle with everybody. And that's Kid Rock, for instance, giving us high fives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Nashville. Nashville has a piece of my heart. My wife and I are going back. We're bringing our daughter. Nashville is probably a place that I'm going to frequently visit.
Because it sounds like what I hear you say is it's a place that you can just actually chill but yet be entertained, right? Like, there's the beach, and you can chill at the beach, but you can't really be entertained.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, when you've been to all the beaches, at least in the United States, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, I go and I jump with the waves for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I get in that literal flow state, and like I come back, and you can only look at everything and nothing at the same time for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I truly believe that we should wake up. Science has proven this, the importance of waking up to a horizon and being able to gaze into a horizon. It does something for your health. But at the same time, you know, coming from the Midwest, we can look every which way and it's a whole lot of flat. So it just kind of is what it is.
And now a quick break for your ears if you're watching and your eyes if you're... Wait, did I get that right? Here's some music. And now, back to the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Those moments that you're talking about earlier about finding yourself. See, that beach that's mine, right? Like, if I go to the beach, spend about a day on the beach, and then that just frees up like mental space. And then I can write speeches and I can do all those things and do planning and all those things, because that's what you need to do now, right?
Nature, we need to quit taking her for granted, because she will be our savior. Now it's just taking a hike in the woods is just as good as an antidepressant.
Yeah.
And these are things like, we're talking neurochemistry here. What does it do to the happy pills upstairs?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your main components ticking upstairs, and taking a hike in the woods it does a lot for people.
What do you think of that? You know, the mental health crisis, I guess as it's called. You kind of talk about that mind space. What's your view on that? Like,
Well, we've already kind of chimed in on it. People are broken. They don't.
Is it real though?
Well, it is real and it's not. So life is a placebo.
Yeah.
Which means life is what you make it, which means life is how you perceive it. People think that they need to blanket. They subconsciously blanket emotions by being addicted to things because we are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Problem is we are habitual creatures caught in a time where things that are unhealthy is what's catering to us. And it's so accessible. So until we really start deep diving on who we are and what we're doing here, people are always going to remain broken, whether they're on pills or not. And that's the thing, is like all you're doing when you take happy pills is you're prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah.
So that is why I focus on supplementation. That is why I focus on plant medicine, because I know long term it is the solution. No matter what, hands down, the success rates do not lie.
Yeah.
So with people who are,
And I think there's something to be said with that, the natural products and things like that, and modern medicine joining together.
absolutely,
You know, I mean, I feel like that's one thing that we're missing in a large way in our country.
yeah, and I think,
Here's a pill, it's synthetic. Here's a pill, it's synthetic. It's all synthetic.
yeah, people are going to, the majority are going to believe it once modern medicine starts pushing it down their throats. You get my drift?
Yeah, totally.
And that will be the silver lining of good. We just can't allow for these profiting corporations to bastardize plants, because that is where that's our doomsday, is once they start really taking over the Amazon jungle and really, pimping it out. That will be a very gnarly life to live.
Right.
But when you think of people who are, they're searching for who they are and what they're doing here, the solution is actually quite simple. Quit drinking soda every single day. Quit watching Netflix before you go to sleep. Quit binge watching things until 3 o'clock in the morning. Work with the circadian rhythm of your natural body. Go to the gym 4 times a week. You know what I'm saying? These are small gains that make a world of a difference.
Yeah.
Also, get your blood tested, for crying out loud. Fork over the $150, $175 out of pocket you have to pay to get your blood tested, and go do it. Understand where you're deficient in. And then start supplementing, and you would be surprised just what a B12 supplement will do for your energy. Flip over that Red Bull, see niacin, B12, and all these vitamin A's and vitamin C's. Guess what? You can go get those at your local Hy-Vee and start supplementing them with rice, beans, and chicken. And guess what? You're going to start feeling better. I call it the 6-week rule.
Yeah. Well, totally. It takes, anything, a habit, whether that be going to the gym or putting your seatbelt on in your car, habits are formed in like 6 weeks. Yep. And once we make those habits, and they're good habits, it's easy to follow.
It becomes your way of life.
Totally.
Yeah, and you miss it if you don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, people fail to realize the Northern Hemisphere for a certain amount of time over the winter gets 0 vitamin D from our sun. Even though it's shining outside, it doesn't start really providing vitamin D for us. Just a vitamin D3 supplement. Yeah. And these are things that people look at, oh, not another pill, not another pill. Do you even care anymore? Like, do you genuinely care? And that's the thing. Is people, they want to talk about self-love, but they are unwilling to go the lengths to actually prove it.
Right.
And that's where, as a consultant, you call them out on it, and it's like, well, get back to me when you really want to make the change and be the difference in your life, your kid's life, things like that. Because oftentimes we see people who have a couple kids early on, and then they, in a nutshell, throw in the towel of progression. So it's a very dangerous place to be when excuses start taking over your life because you have children, because it's actually a double-sided sword in regards to, there's duality to it, where actually, if you quit that dead-end job that you hate, but you say you need to go because you have kids, you're actually going to show way more character to your kids, and you're actually going to be that much closer to your purpose. So it's better you get that shitty moment out of the way sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
That way you can actually show your kids what life is really all about, and that's taking risk and fighting fear.
And that's like the saying, did you have a bad day or a bad 5 minutes and milked it all day, right? Right? I mean, I don't mean to simplify what you just said. It's not simple, but what it is that's perspective. Is this a perceived reality or is this real reality, right?
There's a meme always floating around, 86,400. If you have $86,400 and someone came and took $5 from you, are you going to throw away that $86,395, or are you actually going to maintain the rest of your day and actually capitalize on it?
Yeah, who cares about that? I mean, yeah, exactly. That's negative mind space, and that doesn't exist. And I can't say it doesn't exist. I try not to allow it to exist in my world.
Yeah, it's been with social media. We are the guinea pigs of it. So now,
completely,
now we're seeing people who don't have it all put together. None of us do, but there are some who have made more progress than others, and they still have access to us, and we have access to them. So we can make a world of a difference in someone's lives. But we were talking before we went hot, the power of being face to face. I value that so much more than behind a screen. I would much rather have coffee with someone I might disagree with than to really just go down a wormhole of nothing good is going to come out of it.
Yeah, not to get political or anything, but and I don't mean that. I mean, if you want to talk politics, go for it. I'm probably not going to talk to you about it. But what I'm saying here is, in politics is really what is forefront, obviously, right now, and that is the fact that people can't sit down and communicate at all. It's not even it's just they can't communicate, and there's so much anger and hatred and all those things that happen, and we're all human beings. I might not agree with you, and you might not agree with me, but we're still human. What's going on, man?
So,
what's your opinion?
Communication, just like what you said. Instead, Nancy Pelosi makes her communication is making a statement by ripping paper, the same paper that President Trump just gave to her, instead of actually, because they're on party lines, so they toe that rope. So when they're tied to that, it's a false identity.
It is a false identity, and that's, I guess, my point is why are they tied to it?
Tribalism, man.
Yeah,
Tribalism.
Yeah.
This is my team.
Yeah.
And that is where corporate interests come into play. So it's a dangerous place to be when corporate interests are involved in politics, because that actually makes tribalism branded.
Yeah.
Get my drift? So that is a battle where, how do you start plucking away from that? I've always floated down the middle, always.
Yeah, I'll say that I voted for, in my lifetime, I voted for both parties. I think that there's a problem when you're stuck into a Republican or Democrat or Libertarian or Independent or whatever you want to call it. When you're stuck in that mindset of it's got to be Democrats, it's got to be Republicans, I think that we get what we get right now.
Yep.
And that is trouble. Good, bad, or in between, it is trouble. I don't care what party you're attached to.
Yeah, when practicality has been thrown out of politics by politicians, that's where that's going to trickle down, and it's going to basically take over people's mind states. So like now, go down the list. It's the yin or the yang across the board. Are you watching CNN or Fox News? Are you voting Republican or Democrat? Are you for pro rights, or are you against it? Like, go down the list. There's this yin and yang, darkness and light going on, where it's so convoluted we don't even know what is dark anymore and what is light, because we know that Bernie got screwed out of the 2016. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know it now.
Yeah, I think that you hit it though, the darkness and the light. I think that's where it's wrong. It's not dark and light. It's light and light. Yeah. It's just the different color light, right? Like, we're all human beings, and so we all have our ideas and opinions and things like that. So it's not like this party is right and that party is wrong, and that person is evil and this person is good. Well, who judges that?
Yep.
We're making those judgments based off of something that we don't know.
No one has a clue.
I don't know if you're good or bad. That's not for me to decide. What I do know is that you're a human being, and I respect that, and I will honor that, and I will communicate with you with that, and all those things. I don't know if we disagree on anything. That's not my point. But my point is that I'm not bad or good. You're not bad or good. You are who you are.
It's a whole bunch of people trying to create the boogeyman.
Yes.
And they're not even perceiving, like when I look at Donald Trump,
usually the boogeyman is who's trying to create the boogeyman is essentially the boogeyman.
Absolutely. And that's what the Bible says too. Satan's going to show his face as the savior. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And now, a quick break for you to think about all the things you love in life, like Skittles. I love Skittles. And now, back to the episode.
And like back to my point I was gonna make talking about Donald Trump. When I look at Donald Trump, I perceive him as a baby, and I mean like a baby that was raised into who we see him as today. I feel so remorseful, and I can't help it. I feel bad for all these people that are like, whether they have to live out a facade, or these people who are they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. And I feel that for, all these politicians across the board. Same thing. Like, say Bernie wins the nomination and he gets to go up against Trump. That is where he is going to be vilified, just like Donald Trump already has. So like, just when people think he might be the savior, no, he's going to be vilified across the board no matter what. And that's where I feel bad for these people who are putting themselves in the spotlight, because unless you've ever been in the spotlight, you don't know how it feels.
Right.
You don't understand that you cannot do right no matter how much right you do. So like, I have to perceive them as a energetic vessel more so than any darkness, because I know the darkness comes from the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's who's that guy in Vegas, Chris Angel or whatever, the illusionist? I mean, it's sleight of hand, right? That's what it's about.
But he worships the devil.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe he does. I don't know. But it's sleight of hand, though. It's smoke and mirrors. It's all those things that people are trying to do. So what happens then when they vilify, as you say, they're projecting things onto someone else, generally speaking. That's my experience. That's what I've looked at and studied. They're projecting their own problems onto somebody else.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
And that's something I continuously repeat to myself when it comes down to like, someone's opinion that I don't agree with. It's like, how can I take an angle? And I'm not perfect, but how can I take an angle that will shed light in a positive way? Because there's too much of that negativity going on. Like, how are we all going? Like, we need 51% of the population to rise up and glow up. That's what we need. If we can get to 51% where everyone rules out all darkness, they have this barrier built up where it's positivity or bust, baby. If we can get to that, that's where we will win as a civilization. Unfortunately, right now, it's kind of taken over by us being the social media guinea pigs, where the algorithm is controlled. They know that if we want to rise out of people, we can put negative stuff in front of them.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of human nature and things. I like how you said the 51% of positive. That's so huge. Even if you can tip, excuse me, even if you can tip your own mind to that place, to that 51% positive, that's going to lead to that 6 weeks, right? And now in 6 weeks you're going to be at 55%.
Absolutely. There's this show called Messiah that I watched on Netflix.
Okay, I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it.
It is so it's so enlightening, because you have this being who is a human being. He is nothing but like guidance, positivity, and doing the right thing. And he's vilified throughout the entire process. He's vilified by our government. And why is that? Because we fear what we don't understand. And when you don't understand someone who is just the walking reincarnation of Christ. Remember, Buddha had multiple faces. Buddha was in existence, and they put a face on him. You get my drift?
Yeah.
And whenever people talk to me about Jesus Christ, I say, okay, well, are you operating like him? Because you too can be Jesus Christ.
Sure.
You know, if you vibrate on that wavelength and allow it to flow through you, because that means you're going to love unconditionally and you're going to do all the right things. It's up to you.
Yeah.
And people want to place their power externally, where through my work, I've come to understand that I am a very powerful vessel who is capable of doing all the right things. But I'm also a human being with free will.
Right.
So I make mistakes.
Yes.
But that's how I learn.
Exactly. I was just going to say, we talked about that, learning from mistakes earlier before we were on air. And that's absolutely right. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, first you have to understand that you make mistakes. I make mistakes. I mean, I'm saying that right now publicly in front of thousands. I make mistakes every single freaking day. But what I try to do is I try to sit on that beach, whether it be figuratively or just actually on the beach. I'll think about that. Okay, I screwed up here. Yep, I own that. I did this. Yep, I own that. Things like that. And then, okay, what can I do next time to notice it more quickly, right? Like, I don't go down that path. I don't go 2 miles down that path. This time I'm going to go 1.5 miles, and I'm going to recognize what I did and where I screwed up. But why do so many people, that's their comfort zone, is saying that it's everybody else's problem. I don't screw up. Why are so many people that way?
Stationary Astronaut.
Yeah.
So check this out. Stationary Astronaut is a metaphor for going within, so you can be the change you wish to see, make all the differences, shoot for the stars, things like that. You have to make a decision within. We are living in a comparative and an externalized society now. So social media...
Comparative, that's absolutely 100%.
Like, everyone has externalized who they are instead of knowing who they truly are within. And then when that happens, it's the big bang where good things start falling into place. The universe starts giving you what you want because you have focused within and you have harnessed that energy to the point you're unstoppable. You can do anything. That's how an employee becomes an employer.
Yes.
Because you make a decision within. Unfortunately, people are so externalized where they're living for the next paycheck. They're trying not to piss these people off. They're living for a future moment instead of the one right here.
Yeah.
You get my drift?
Yeah.
They're saving up for Christmas. They're living for the next shebang where it's like you could just be living the shebang.
Right.
You
We're all guilty of that at some level, at some point. Yeah, it's recognizing that.
Yeah,
man, I'm having so much fun, but I think we're gonna have to probably wrap up.
We're calling it.
I think we better call it, because what I'm thinking is that we better do a part 2 down the road.
Okay,
right? How's that sound, man?
Yeah, sounds great.
You know, in a minute, I want you to tell people how to get a hold of you. I think that what you're doing you're really creating a space where it's comfortable for people to allow you to make them uncomfortable. See what I'm saying? Like, you are creating that place where you can chip away at those things and get deep into what those issues are and in that mental space. So I appreciate what you're doing there. But first, March 5th, we're going to be at the Castle. We're doing a live audience podcast. So we're setting up and doing it live. We have music and things like that, and some other featured guests. I'm going to put the opportunity out there for you to come and shake some hands and say hi to your fans and things like that. If you can make March 5th, let us know. I don't know if you can or not. Putting you on the spot.
I'm there, Jack.
All right.
I'm there.
6:30 at the Castle, Les Fields Hall, all the way upstairs.
Perfect.
Your buddy Bucky Beeman's going to be there. He's our featured guest that night. Like, I'm going to be sitting down with my co-host that night, but and we're going to drill him. Yeah, so that's going to be fun.
Okay.
So you'll have to come there and heckle.
Okay. Yeah, Bucky will be in here in a little bit. So
yeah, good. We'll tell them hi.
Okay.
Tell us how to get a hold of you, website, whatever. I mean, just let us know.
StationaryAstronaut.com. Follow us on Instagram, Stationary Astronaut. Snapchat, if you use it, Astro Station. What else? TikTok, Stationary Astronaut. We're going to have a bunch of Astro Network content going out on TikTok and Instagram. Also, Facebook Stationary Astronauts, plural, because I feel like this is a we program. It's whenever anyone catches me, why do you always say we? Well, first off,
you got to go wee.
Yeah. No,
Sorry, man. That's just what it sounds like, right?
For it.
Yeah,
I set you up for it. But really, it's all about it's a we program because we cannot accomplish anything by ourselves. We can come up with ideas by ourselves, but it takes a unit, it takes a collective, it takes a team to really execute and get things done. So I operate on a we program. That's why Stationary Astronauts is plural on Facebook. I do have Stationary Astronaut on Facebook as well, but we don't use it. We go plural with it because we want it to be a collective. We want to pretty much raise the vibration of people because we got to start off with positive content. The news is so negative because they know that's what sells. We need positivity and vulnerability to start being what sells.
Completely.
Totally.
Yeah. Dude, thanks a lot, Nick. I appreciate it. See you next time.
Appreciate you.
Wow.
Yes. So many stories that will give me nightmares, I think, for a little while.
Yeah, that banana spider that they had to like kill, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that would kill somebody essentially is the way I understand it. You
don't think at all about that.
And
but
Jackie's saying hi on the outro too. She enjoyed
heard
it.
Spiders.
Yeah. So
Just to be clear, Jackie's a dog. If
yes,
you're listening.
if you can see her a little bit. She's coming and saying hello. But yes, if you're listening, she's my pup.
Well, what a great story. I mean, obviously he takes the fear part to the extreme. I mean, that's really out of most people's comfort zones, for sure. But he does talk about South Dakota, which is a totally different place and could be out of a lot of people's comfort zones as well.
Right.
But we all have our thing. But he talks about leaps like over and over, like not just the one.
Leaps and execution.
Yeah.
Like that was big for me. That's so important to execute. You can dream and dream and dream and dream, but if you don't execute.
Yes. I mean, that's
you
like
don't go
the
to
missing.
South Dakota.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of South Dakota. I mean, mostly the drive out there. But I mean, the execution is the biggest part of it. And he talks about how that got him to new places. You know, if he hadn't been operating at the capacity that he was already, I mean, it's not the one action, it's consistent actions over time. And that's the biggest thing when people are asking about success. Like
exactly.
Over and over and over, you have to keep doing that. You don't just get to like bat up one home run and you're good.
Right. Absolutely. The thing too that struck me was what I enjoy is I've met some famous people and they're like just people. And he talked about that too, because I asked him the question. He's met some famous people. But what I want to say is how he put it, you know, very, very well. He said, if you don't know yourself, you're going to get that kind of like locked mind and things like that, and that fandom. And, you know, I guess to me, that's really key. We need to know ourselves. We need to be comfortable with ourselves. We need to, because.
Well, and most of the times that you're uncomfortable is like your own projections of yourself and the expectations that you have. So it makes perfect sense why that's going to be a holdup for most people.
Absolutely. And hey, we're going to be at the castle on March 5th. He did say that he's like 99% positive he'll be there.
Perfect.
So, you know, let's do this. Let's have some fun.
I can't wait.
Pick his brain.
Yes. And if you want to connect with him, you can head over to his website. And I kiss
Stationary
Astronaut.com.
Talk about brain freeze.
Right?
Yeah, have some more coffee.
Haven't had enough yet. But
all right.
That's where you go. Get more information, and we'll see you on March 5th at the castle.
A question, you know, I just was reminded, a question that people continue to ask is, well, how do we know a new episode is coming and what the guest is going to be and all that kind of stuff? There's like a whole list of guests that we have lined up, as you know. Some we're working on that might take literally months, but they're pretty like exciting guests.
Yeah.
The best way to do that, I tell them, is just to go ahead and subscribe. And then you can pick and choose what episode to listen to or not listen to. And we'll talk about who the guest is and things like in the description, so you can check it out or not. But when you subscribe, that lets you know, alerts you that a new podcast is out.
It's just like a little reminder, like, hey, just tell me about this and I'll see if I want to listen or not.
Right? And the goal is Tuesday mornings, that they'll air Tuesday mornings, every Tuesday morning. So it's cool.
Perfect.
See you on Tuesday.
All right.